Have you ever walked out of a conversation and felt smaller than when you walked in? Have you ever replayed someone's words in your head and realized they subtly controlled the entire interaction while you were just reacting? Have you ever smiled on the outside while feeling disrespected on the inside, promising yourself that next time you would handle it differently, only to repeat the same pattern again? Have you ever watched someone less intelligent, less prepared, less disciplined somehow win the room, win the deal, win the relationship, and wondered what invisible mechanism you were missing? And the hardest question of all, are you tired of feeling like an extra in rooms where you were supposed to be the main character? You do not want to control people because you are evil. You want control because you are tired of being emotionally cornered. You want leverage because you are tired of explaining yourself. You want influence because you are tired of being ignored, talked over, or subtly dismissed. You want to protect your dreams, your peace, your ambition. And deep down you know this world does not reward the most honest person. It rewards the most psychologically aware one. So let me speak directly to you. Not to the crowd. To you. The one who feels underestimated. The one who thinks deeply but speaks late. The one who respects others but does not always receive the same level of respect back. The one who feels that silent burn when someone tries to dominate the conversation. The one who wants to rise higher in business, in love, in social life, but keeps sensing invisible resistance. That resistance is not random. It is psychological positioning. And positioning determines power. Machiavelli understood something most people still refuse to accept. Human beings respond to advantage. They respond to perceived authority. They respond to emotional cues far more than logic. So if you want to control anyone, you must first understand that control is not force. Control is direction. And direction is set long before the first argument happens. The first dark psychology trick is frame control. And I want you to imagine something simple. Two people enter a conversation. One is reacting. One is defining. The one who defines wins. Let me show you what I mean. Someone says, "You're always late." If you defend yourself, you accept their frame. But if you calmly respond, "I prioritize quality over speed, and I arrive when I can give full focus," you redefine the situation. Same facts. Different meaning. And meaning shapes perception. Frame is the invisible border around reality. Most people do not see frames. They step inside them. That is why they lose. If someone teases you publicly to test your status, and you laugh nervously, you accepted a lower position. But if you smile calmly and say, "Careful," you are getting comfortable. With steady eye contact, you shift the energy. You are no longer defending. You are positioning. The reason this works is because human beings seek certainty. The person who speaks with calm certainty becomes the reference point. So you must train yourself to pause before answering. Silence is power. Silence interrupts emotional momentum. When you pause, you force the other person to feel the weight of their own words. Pause. Look. Then speak slowly. You are not rushing to be understood. You are guiding how you are understood. If this realization is already shifting something inside you, type, "I define the room," in the comments. This is your first vow. You are acknowledging that you will never again step blindly into someone else's psychological frame. Now let us go deeper because control without value collapses. The second dark psychology trick is strategic scarcity. And this one will hurt at first because it requires discipline. You have been too available, too responsive, too quick to explain, too eager to fix misunderstandings, too ready to give your time. Availability is generosity. But constant availability is low value. Think about how you treat someone who always answers on the first ring. You expect it. Now think about how you treat someone who responds when they choose to. You respect their time. Scarcity creates gravity. This does not mean you ignore people. It means you manage access. If someone cancels on you casually, you do not chase. You say calmly, "No problem. Let me know when your schedule clears." And then you step back. Why? Because when you chase, you signal fear of loss. When you remain centered, you signal options. And options are power. In business, if you accept every request instantly, you train others to overload you. But if you respond, "I can do this," but it will shift priority from something else. Which one would you prefer? You force them to see your capacity as limited and valuable. Scarcity works because humans fear losing access more than they value gaining it. If your attention feels unlimited, it becomes invisible. If your attention feels selective, it becomes desired. But understand this clearly. Scarcity without substance is manipulation. Scarcity with excellence is strategy. So when you show up, you deliver. When you speak, your words have weight. When you commit, you execute. That combination transforms perception. If you feel the part of you that overgives nodding right now, type, "My time has value." That is your second vow. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming intentional. Now we arrive at the third dark psychology trick: emotional contrast. Most people operate on one emotional level. They are either always intense, always soft, always passive, or always explosive. Predictability makes you easy to categorize. Easy to categorize means easy to control. But emotional contrast disrupts patterns. Imagine this situation. Someone speaks over you in a meeting. You do not react emotionally. You let them finish. You remain calm. That calm unsettles them slightly because there was no reaction to feed on. Later, in private, you say calmly, "In future meetings, let me finish before you add." No anger. Just clarity. The public calm followed by private firmness creates a psychological imprint. They now see two layers in you. And that complexity commands caution. Contrast creates memory. Memory creates respect. In relationships, if someone pushes your boundaries playfully and you always laugh it off, you train them to escalate. But if one day you stop smiling and say quietly, "That one does not work for me," the shift in tone carries weight. Because it is rare. Humans notice change. Emotional contrast must be controlled. Too much, and you look unstable. Too little, and you look flat. The key is measured shifts. Validate. Then direct. Listen fully. Then conclude decisively. Be warm socially. Be firm when necessary. Contrast creates edge. And edge creates influence. If you are beginning to see how all three connect, type, "I move with intent." That is your third vow. You are stepping out of autopilot. Now let me tell you a small story. There was a young professional. Smart, capable, hard-working, but constantly overlooked. In meetings, he spoke last. In dating, he texted first. In family discussions, he explained more than he was asked. He believed being reasonable would earn authority. It earned comfort, not power. The shift happened when he changed three behaviors. First, he stopped answering instantly. He paused. People began listening more carefully because his words were no longer automatic. Second, he reduced unnecessary availability. He declined events that did not align with his goals. Suddenly his presence felt stronger when he arrived. Third, when challenged, he smiled calmly instead of defending. And if needed, he followed up privately with clarity instead of public emotion. Within months, perception shifted. Not because he manipulated aggressively, Because he repositioned subtly. You want to control anyone. Start with how you control yourself in micro-moments. Every reaction is a signal. Every signal builds a narrative. And narrative defines role. Are you the reactive one? Or the composed one? The over-explainer? Or the selective communicator? The always available? Or the strategically busy? Control begins where emotional impulse ends. And now I want something from you. Not just a comment. A commitment. For the next 7 days, you will choose one of these tricks and apply it consciously. Not randomly. Not emotionally. Intentionally. If you accept this challenge, type 7 days strategic. That is your 4th vow. You are no longer a spectator of your own life. Let me leave you with this. You do not need to shout to control a room. You do not need to intimidate to be respected. You do not need to manipulate cruelly to influence effectively. You need clarity. You need pacing. You need discipline. Frame the conversation. Protect your scarcity. Deploy emotional contrast. And the most powerful part, never reveal that you are doing it. Because the strongest control looks like calm confidence. The strongest influence looks like effortless presence. And the strongest power feels invisible. You wanted to stop feeling small. You wanted to stop being overlooked. You wanted to stop replaying moments of regret. Now you have the structure. The only question left is simple. Will you use it?